Welcome to Lane University. My name's Conrad Layn. I'm a Turo par host, and all that simply means when you become a par host is that means you earn a significant amount of income on the Turo platform and you're rewarded a Turo Pros badge. But besides that, I also rent cars on Turo, of course. Hire a car, Getaround, and independently to movie studios and individuals. And I'm going to share some tax secrets that some of the most wealthiest people in the world use to keep their wealth and build their wealth, and to help you get some additional tax returns for those that maybe overpay in taxes or just don't maybe typically get a return. I'm going to try to do my best to get you a bigger return, or where you pay zero taxes or a very low amount of taxes legally. This is how you do it, simply put. So I left the article below directly from the IRS in the video description. Check it for yourself. It goes over the standard mileage rate. Per this year, 2024, the standard mileage rate per the article left below for proof. Again, this is not clickbait. If you want to start building to a point where you save hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars off your taxes, where you keep it in your pocket, keep listening. So this is it. So if you own cars, even if it's one car, two cars, three cars, I own 31 cars. It doesn't matter how many cars you own or don't own. If you own at least one car, and even if you lease a car, yes, even if you lease a car, you can collect standard mileage. So standard mileage rate works like this. Per every mile they use towards business, you get 67 cents per mile. Let that sink in. Last year in 2023, it was at 65.5 cents per every mile used for business. So what this means essentially is, say you're a gig driver, say you drive for Uber or Lyft maybe 50% of the time. You could collect up to 50% of that. So say you drive, say there's 10,000 miles that was accrued on your vehicle, but 50% of those, which is 5,000 miles, was used for business. You essentially get $3,350 of tax income back to you that you use against to reduce your taxes, or possibly get a tax write-off of that, etc. The same goes if you use your car 100% of the time. Then you get $6,700. See, 67 times 10,000 miles. So the goal here is, the more cars you own typically, like I own quite a bit of cars, you don't drive all your cars personally. So what this does essentially is, they're automatically going to be confined to the business and used 100% of the time. On average, my vehicles accrue anywhere from, on a low end, 10,000 to 20 to even 30,000 miles per year. Most hosts that own multiple cars and they're constantly booked, especially I rent them on Turo, independently, hire a car, Getaround. I have a lot going on with my cars. So what this does essentially is, this can help you, reward you to be able to A, get a bigger return at the end of the year, or keep you tax compliant and bring your taxes all the way down legally, where you pay $0 in taxes. Or you get to the point where you just become tax savvy and you calculate each one of these and just become dollars in your pocket. So think of it this way. Each one of my cars, let's say I have 4 cars, right? Let's say I have 4 cars, for the sake of argument. Each car has 10,000 miles, right? So 10,000 miles, and then you multiply that by 67 cents. That's $6,700 per car. Pretty cool. That comes out to $26,800 for all 4 cars, because 6,700 times 6,700 is 13,400. 26 then times 2, $26,800 that you can keep in your pocket and or reduce your taxes per come tax year. This is a very lucrative business in making income, but even as your car depreciates in value, the mileage that you get constantly seems to go up. Just from last year, 1.5 cents per each business mile. So the more cars you have that you're renting on Turo, Hire Car, Getaround, is the more that you get to not use your vehicle, because they're being rented out and you're not going to drive every single car, right? So these cars start accruing at 100%. You simply do this by, when you put the car in operation, you keep the contract date that you put the car in contract, per oil change, take a picture of the odometer, and you keep that as your tax return. So say maybe you enter it at 10,000 miles, maybe it's a used car. And the cool thing, this doesn't matter if it's a used car or a new car, as long as you document for your own safety. And say it's a used car or a new car, you just take a picture of the odometer at the beginning, get an oil change, or keep the contract that shows the mileage from the dealership if you just bought the car, or if you just put in operation, get an oil change to document that. And then from that point, at the end of the year, If it went up 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles, 30,000 miles, whatever the case is, especially if it's being booked a lot, then you just got a tax advantage. And it even gets more beautiful. The standard mileage rate of 67 cents that constantly keeps going up by the IRS every year, it doesn't matter what type of car you have. So that means you can literally go get a terrible car for literally maybe $2,000, let's say. I'm not saying a $2,000 car is terrible, but it could be the worst car ever, but you're allowed to add up to hire a car, Turo, or rent it independently. That means the cars you're buying, essentially, you're getting a bigger tax deduction because they're being rented out. I have a car that's a 2014 Buick that I got for, $4,700 and needed about $1,000 worth of work. But the thing is, it's being rented. So now that it's being rented on another platform, hire car, for example, the cool thing about it is it's the mileage that is put on is already at 15,000 miles. It's already worth more than what I bought the car for. What this means essentially is the 67 cents is not governed on how new or how old or what type of vehicle you have. It just means you get 67 cents per each mile. So if you buy a lot of cars that are cheap, even, not saying you should buy cheap cars or not buy cheap cars, but if you do, you still get the same advantage for someone who has a new 2024 car or a new vehicle or a newer vehicle or a better quality vehicle. It doesn't matter. The 67 cents does not discriminate. It doesn't matter if it's a 2014 car, if it's a 2024 car, doesn't matter. All that's really governed is based on the platform you put it in. So hire car typically doesn't really have a stipulation on the year. Turo does. So you want to check in your territory what that rule is. Turo might allow you to add a 2012, whereas hire car, for example, in every state at this point allows you to add a 2003, 2004 car, and you get those cars for like $500, and people actually rent them. And the cool thing, by the end of the year, it actually ends up paying you back. Now you have tax deductions in your pocket. But again, I'm not your CPA. I'm not your tax attorney. Don't serial litigate me. I'm just sharing my strategies and other wealthy people's strategies that have worked for them, because I want to do my best to really help you guys figure out how to get your pockets right. And that's about it. I'm always constantly learning, far from perfect. And I'm literally hanging out in this sauna. I'm just giving you guys a tax strategy. Again, I'm not your CPA. I'm not your tax person. I'm not your tax attorney. I'm just a dude on YouTube that's sharing my strategies and on TikTok and Instagram on how to build wealth and just sharing what I learned along the way. No one taught me this stuff. I learned through a lot of trial and error, and I'm far from perfect. Again, I have to just reiterate that. So again, link below, do your own due diligence. Don't have to believe me. This is not clickbait. 67 cents per business usage mile. You can get back in your pocket, and this is how the wealthy stay wealthy. You can offset your income, and it's pretty cool. It's really great benefit because it does not matter. Maybe you're like, hey, I can't afford a 2024 new car. Doesn't matter. You could buy a 2003 car, add it to hire car, which allows that, and get a tax deduction.